Nassau and Suffolk counties obtain our drinking water from three major aquifers underneath Long Island, called a sole source aquifer. We're unique in that we're one of the 12 regions in the United States that retrieve our water from beneath our feet.
The water we drink comes from hundreds of feet below the ground and is contained in an aquifer.
The aquifers are from the shallowest to the deepest, the upper glacial, Magathie, and the lower aquifers. Nitrate levels in the aquifers and surface waters can be traced to cesspools, septic systems, with additional contributions from fertilizers and air pollution. Better treatment for our wastewater or reducing fertilizer and pesticide use by thoughtfully preventing nitrogen pollution at its sources. Groundwater can be found in between layers present beneath the Earth's surface, in sand and gravel. Think of it like a sponge. It's believed that our aquifer holds between 65 and 100 trillion gallons of water. The good news is that that's enough to accumulate our population for generations to come. The Upper Glacial was formed between 20,000 to 25,000 years ago by the movement of glaciers that cover Long Island at the time. It is the shallowest, and it can take about 10 to 15 years for water to reach the Upper Glacial aquifer. The Magathie, 65 million years old. The Middle Aquifer, and also the largest of aquifers and the one that we use the most. It can take about 500 years for the water to reach the Magathie Aquifer. Before the last aquifer, Long Island has a unique layer of clay that we're very famous for that sits beneath. Lloyd Aquifer, 65 million years old. The deepest aquifer, and it can take about 1,000 years for water to reach the Lloyd Aquifer. There is hardly any drinking water that comes from this aquifer due to the moratorium, essentially a law making it illegal, which was set by New York State. The water cycle replenishes our sole source aquifer, 800 billion gallons a year from precipitation on the Long Island each year. Infiltrates the ground and runoff from the groundwater surface. Our local water authority only draws approximately about 70 to 80 billion gallons a year. This ensures that we never deplete our groundwater source. So, to summarize, 400 billion gallons make its way down into the ground, into the aquifer. About 200 billion gallons is used collectively on Long Island each year. Lots of other places, such as New York City, use surface water sources for their drinking water. The problem with this is that the stormwater runoff and pollutants like fertilizer can settle in these streams and surface water sources like lakes and reservoirs. Long Island is very fortunate to have a sole source aquifer because the many layers of sand, clay, and gravel can act as a natural filter, cleaning contaminants as water flows down into the three aquifers. Sediment can help, but water can still get contaminated underneath the surface. Most of the threats of our drinking water come from the stormwater runoff or the runoff of harmful chemicals and products that do not go into the ground.
Chlorine is added to the water once it's pumped from the ground in order to kill any potential bacteria in the water. And also because our water is slightly acidic, lime is added to neutralize the pH to prevent any corrosion of the pipes and equipment that we utilize to get the water to homes.
Population increase. We saw a population surge in Suffolk County, which began to increase from 1950 to 1960 and increased over 141%. The second largest increase over a decade occurred between 1960 and 1970 when the population increased over 61%. The industry. Long Island was once home to aviation, manufacturing, and chemical plants, which has caused toxic plumes and costly Superfund cleanups. These cleanups are vital, but cost lots of tax dollars. We can help do our part by minimizing the amount of toxins and chemicals that we use at home. Nitrates and contaminants. Fertilizers, pharmaceuticals, antiquated cesspools, and septic systems. Stormwater runoffs. Roads, driveways, and buildings don't absorb water. This forces rain and water into the stormwater drains. Urban rainwater picks up pollutants like oil, pesticide, dog fecal, and garbage like plastics. Development has increased on Long Island. The amount of water making it back into the aquifer system has increased. This is due to the increase in repairable services and operation of sanitary sewer systems that discharge to surface water, instead of the natural process of re-entering the groundwater. What is 1,4-dioxane? Most often found in products like suds, like shampoos, shower gels, dish soaps, and laundry detergents. 1,4-dioxane has been found in toothpaste, mouthwash, and hair dyes. PFOA and PFOS are fluorinated organic chemicals used to make carpets, clothing, fabric for furniture, paper packaging for food, and other materials that are resistant to water, grease, or stains. They are also used for firefighting at airfields and in a number of industrial processes. Water samples are collected for database, 75,000 samples collected a year, at individual wells and distribution stations. We also test private wells. There are many ways which we can do our part to decrease the use of emerging contaminants at home. Whether you choose to shop for alternative products which are labeled environmentally friendly or safe at the store, create rain-friendly gardens, or simply take your car to the wash instead of washing at home. There are many ways to help and keep our water clean at home. Create a rain-friendly yard by adding a layer of extra topsoil on your yard. Plant trees and flowers. Certain species are excellent water filters: silky dogwood, gray dogwood, snowberry, flowers, aster, little blue stem, yarrow, milkweed, coneflower, and black-eyed Susan. Use paving stones and gravel instead of concrete sidewalks. Don't wash your car at home. Take it to a car wash that has special treatment and collection guidelines to avoid chemicals seeping into the groundwater. Remember, when it rains, everything on the ground makes its way into storm drains or seeps into the ground, eventually leading to our ponds, the Nesquik River, and the Long Island Sound. Use fertilizer sparingly, vegetate bare roots on your lawn, and compost your yard waste. Remember to inspect and pump your septic tank regularly. Always pick up after your pets. Never dump anything down the storm drains. And together, we can be the solution to stormwater pollution.